Hi, my name's Natasha.
And I'm Penny.
We are back in your ears for a very special episode. This weekend is Mother's Day.
Aww.
And I think we mention our mums quite a bit on the podcast because they are absolute superstars. And without them, we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't have all the things in our heads that we've learned throughout our years. And I think it's just really important. Today, we wanted to just kind of make this episode all about them and the lessons that we've learned from them.
Yes, our mothers are beautiful, lovely ladies. Very different ladies.
Very, very different.
Very different.
But
same in some ways, though. Always sound advice.
Very, very sound advice. They're always the people that we go to. Always the people like when we need something, they're just always there for us, and they're just both very, very beautiful. Both have very big hearts. They just communicate it in different ways.
Yes, that is very true. But you know what, though? Married them both. We love it.
Exactly.
And they're powerful players in the world. But what's your mum's career journey look like?
My mum's career journey. Okay, so my mum's career journey, she started off in IT, actually. She was doing a degree in IT.
IT
queen.
Oh my God.
And then she had me. and then she had me. So then it kind of like, so she just got into the end of her IT degree, and then, yeah, she had me. She had to then kind of, she was a single mum at the time and just put all of her efforts into making money to support little Natasha. So my mum is an absolute superstar because, you know, instead of, she didn't really have the opportunity to follow her dreams in that situation. At that point in life, she didn't have that opportunity to do what a lot of us have, and a lot of us don't have as well. So there's a lot of respect out there to single mums who have to do it hard, and she did. She got up every morning, made sure that she was at work, made sure that she could pay for me to have childcare because she didn't have as much of that support. She had my beautiful grandma and grandparents at the time, but there's only so much that they can take on. So between daycare, juggling that, and juggling full-time work, trying to make money so she could feed her baby, like it's a lot that you have to kind of think of that, you don't realize until you look back and you're like, wow, that's a lot to juggle. So that's her career journey. And now she is just an absolute boss. She is a full-time advisor of me. Yeah. She's the one I go to advise and my family go to advise. She's just an absolute star. So, but I look back at her career journey and I'm just like, wow, like you think about what they've given up. And it is giving up. And I think I've spoken about it in the past. So I'm like, it's just mad respect to mums out there that, yes, the ideal situations that you can do it all. And I do think that there's more opportunities now to do it all. When I was born, there was no online that you could do. There was no Uber. There was no different types. It was, you work and you're there present every day. There was no remote work. There was no flexi work. It was harder to hustle. It was a lot harder to hustle. So yes, the hope is that you can do it all, but there are also situations where you can't. And I have a lot of respect for mums because of my experience with my mum.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful story. Mik, in IT, I love it.
Sweetheart. Yeah, I know. She's a little IT nerd, which she never really would put two and two together with that. But yeah, she was an IT nerd.
Love it. How about Zef? The next time I see her. So Zef's, well, similar kind of journey. She was a money market dealer, which was like very, very cool, very chic. She used to always go for like business lunches in the city every time we drive past.
I can imagine her in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah, literally. I can
imagine her very stylish.
Power suit queen. I think at the time before she was full-time at home with us, because she's an amazing, dedicated mother of 3. Yeah. And, we had some things going on in our family, some health challenges and stuff that she wanted to be at home for full-time. And she was fortunate enough in the position to do so, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful for that experience with her because she was able to cement and push and grow from an education and career perspective. And I think she is a very ambitious person. And while she hasn't had a career in business for a while in terms of not being outside of the home and holding down that family life, she's whip smart. Honestly, if the woman wanted to start an events company tomorrow, she would be able to. She
planned her whole wedding 5 times, by the way. Penny was trying to get married, God bless, during the pandemic, which you had no idea about, that it was about to hit you in the face 5 times.
Yeah, that was fun.
And your beautiful mother, she was the one who kind of pulled it all together, not even having a wedding planning experience professionally. She was able to pull together.
She's a professional now.
Oh my God, the event of the year. It was incredible. It was so nice.
She's gonna love to hear you say that because honestly it was all her. But no, it's she had this amazing career that she built, and she studied really hard. She, having a uni education for her was really important.
Yep.
Obviously having that career in the city. And I think at that time she was bringing in more than dad, which we love.
Get it, girl. Yes, she
yes,
was.
the breadwinner. But she honestly was an amazing person, but she's taught me some really amazing lessons of how to, I guess, hold your own in your space in your relationship and also as a career, and putting that, I guess, that real spotlight on education and it being a priority,
and how important
and
it is.
upskilling yourself as a woman at work and holding your own in that. And I think, look, she's number one WIB supporter up there with Mik as well.
I know. They're always the first ones to like our stories, listen to our podcast. They're our biggest supporters. Yeah. And I think one thing that you said there, like when you speak about a career journey, it's quite funny because both of us were kind of like, okay, how do we explain the important role that they play in our lives without saying, that they bring in the money or they do this? And like, and my mum's the same. My mum's been very lucky and, she's got a support of my dad, very, very supportive in the sense that she doesn't have to work right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say that, I mean she doesn't have to go put on a suit and go into work. My mum still works her ass off, and similar to your mum in the same way. It's like it's that different way of speaking. And one thing that I can really, really take from my mum is she's never had any shame in the motherhood game. Like she is so proud to be that person.
That is a full-time job.
It is a full-time job, and she will say that from the moment she'll say that, I'm a full-time mother. I'm a full-time mother, and that's what she is, and that's what she's always been, and that's why she's been such an amazing mum, because she's been so proud of it. She's never had any shame in being like, no, I do that. That's what I do. We divide and conquer. There's one person that makes money, there's one person that stays at home and looks after the babies. And yes, life's changed a bit and society's changed and the pressures have changed for women and for men, and there's less of that stereotype. I understand that.
But also there's opportunities that have changed too. And a lot of the time things maybe weren't as accessible or as available to allow someone the opportunities to have a person who is at home full time or who could both go and work full time. Like,
there's also nothing bad about it. Like, and that's what she's taught me is like,
exactly,
whatever your journey is doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you've got the capabilities to stay home and look after the household and do that, and that's what you want to do, amazing. Similar to what you said, like your mum's done the same, and it's like it's amazing. It's incredible. They've been able to look after people, and if you can do it all, amazing. Like I think there's a lot of, when it comes to mums, there's a lot of shame, whether it's C-section or natural birth, and that I just feel like mums, or are you stay at home or do you work or do you not work or do you do this? There's just so much bullshit. Who cares? As long as you are happy and your family's happy and your priorities are in check, then you're an amazing mum.
Yeah. And I think like what I'm learning and what I've learned from my mum, and I'm sure you're the same, and what I'm seeing more as I grow up in a workplace and as a woman at work, is that the things are often stacked against us. And I think because it's Mother's Day, because we want to really celebrate these women, we want to put a spotlight on them and know that everyone's journey is valid and is equal as important. Whether you're a working mum, you're a single mum, you've got a partner at home, you've got whatever situation you're important, your experience is valid, and your work that you do is important no matter how it looks, whether it's in a workplace or as a person at home. There is merit to what you're doing. And we really wanted to shine a light on that today and hold space for that too, because I think women's got it tough, man. Like
especially our mums. Like, I don't know about you, but my mum used to tell me, have you watched The Wog Boy, where there's that scene and he like opens up his sandwich or something and everyone's like, Wog Boy, Wog Boy.
Yeah.
Mum was like, yeah, like she goes, yeah, it's funny and like you can have a laugh at it now. But Mum's like, that was like my upbringing. She goes, when I moved here, Mum moved here when she was young. She could only speak Greek. Like she was born in Greece. So when she came here, that was the case where you'd open up your lunchbox and they'd smell the meat, like the meats that you now go pay, $50 for antipasto board because it's cool. Back then when Mum was growing up, that wasn't cool. That was stinky. That was smelly. They didn't like it. And they would make fun of her for that. Mum would like try and make Vegemite sandwiches in the back corner so like people wouldn't be able to smell. Like it was such a different life growing up then that you just can't even imagine. You can't imagine that. And that builds so much resilience and strength that they're able to kind of pass on to us now, where we are quite lucky in the sense of this situation where, like, as I said, the Italian, Greek, that side of it's become almost like quite cool now with all the restaurants and all the stuff like that. But it wasn't like that.
No, and I think, but that's the thing, like we've got a lot to learn from us. So today when we were planning for the episode, so it's half surprise, maybe they don't know this, but we did go and ask our lovely mothers for some key pieces of life advice.
Yep.
The results we got were varied, but we're excited to share them with you because they're things that really has shaped us, and we hope that we can share them with you guys, and you can feel the love from our mums too.
Yeah, I'm sure some of you guys have probably, heard similar advice.
Mm-hmm.
But Penny, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I can start us off. Okay, so one piece of life advice from my mum is to remember where you came from, and that to be proud of all of your achievements, big or small.
That's very, very sweet.
It's very sweet.
And I think that's a really good one as well, because it kind of helps you, especially as you get older, like those pressures on all different points of your life, whether it was, year 12. Remember like starting for year 12 and how stressed you were, and having that constant piece of advice would have been really, really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. But it's true. And I like to think back on that because as I grow in my career, and I'm sure you're the same, Tash, when we're looking back and we're seeing just the journey of itself, reflection is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we're looking back on our lives and we're thinking, this has been the journey, this is where I am today. I mean, I saw it's like kind of like cheeky and a little bit cringe. But there was like an exactly, literally us. But there was an Instagram quote the other day. It was like, remember when you wish for what you had now, like 5 years ago, whatever it is, something like that. And it's true.
That
and
is
I like
so
to
true.
think about this, like this piece of advice when it comes to that. So that's
cute.
a little one.
I love that one.
Little gem.
Okay, so full disclosure, when I first sent my mum ones, she sent me through and I was like, Mum, did you Google these? And she's like, no, absolutely not. But then I was like, nah, speak from the heart. What is something that you actually always told me? And my mum's advice was, why buy the cow when the milk is free?
Wow. Okay.
Get it, Mik? Yeah, that's exact. That was my mum. And she'd always said that to me. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? Now I was like, okay, how have I used this advice to like
say, how we distill this for a women's leadership and
how
business
have I
podcast.
used this? And I was like, you know what? Essentially what it is don't give out things for free when you're not getting anything back. And I think that's the same. You could use that in emotions. You can use that in the workplace. Don't put effort into something without getting anything back. And that could be emotionally, that could be support. That doesn't have to necessarily be transactional. But I think the way that I've used it in a way is like even in business, like I'm happy to, put all the hours into something or someone as long as I'm getting something back. And again, it's not transactional all the time, but it's also emotional. Like if I feel like I'm a part of something, or I feel like, I'm giving back to a good family, or I feel like I'm doing something really bigger than what I'm actually doing, that's really, really important to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I really rate that one. Great piece of advice, and you tied it together in the end really well. I love that business angle.
Don't worry, there's the other one's even better.
Love
it's coming.
Okay, so my mum, she's given some great pieces of advice, but this one I actually really loved from her. So she said to me, it's okay to say no and be kind to yourself.
Oh,
so my mum,
lovely.
the absolute sweetheart, said she was talking about. She always is so giving, and she always wants to be able to help other people, and she just is that person. And she was saying to me that what she's realized later in her life, it's that she needs to look after herself first. She needs to fill up her own cup. And she said she's still learning this and still trying on this. And I think that was a really sweet moment because one, it makes me realize that journey that continues no matter what age you are in life. Like you still need to know that it's okay to have those boundaries for yourself, and also filling up your own cup is really important. And I think that we've touched on it literally in all of our episodes at some point, I think, where you need to be able to look after yourself, to be able to really give back, to be able to be your best self when it even comes to, how you follow your gut instincts. Like if you're not in a good frame of mind, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do. And if you've got too much on in terms of projects or things going on at work, if you say yes to everything, you're going to fail somewhere along the line. That also goes the same for your personal life. So
absolutely.
I think it's those boundaries. It's knowing that it's okay to say no and put yourself first and have that main character energy.
Yes.
That's who you are.
Back yourself and give yourself the confidence. And I think that's one thing that our mums have been able to give us, which I think is invaluable. Like if I could say the biggest thing that both of our mums have given us through our conversations, through speaking to you, like whenever I speak to your mum, she's so like, complimentary and so like the type of person that you want in your corner because she's just backing you in. Like she's that person who's like, no, you've got this. And I can say the same about my mum in the sense that whenever I feel like or my friend, my mum's got a very good relationship with my friends because they go to her for that advice because she's got that like, she just makes you feel like you're a superhuman. And that is like, you can talk about everything else that your parents have ever done for you. But for me, just speaking about it now, I'm like, that is the most important thing because if I didn't have that, that confidence is one of the hardest things to have. And if you've got someone in your corner like that, it's incredible.
Yeah, 100%. And like I can totally vouch for that. Like your mum has given me some amazing life advice and career advice actually, like really pointedly about like how I deal with people, how I approach people. So shout out to you, Mik.
Yeah. Great. So that's actually so one of the ones that I asked her if she'd Googled, and she said no, she actually wrote this one down because it was just so sweet. My mom, by the way, I'm talking a lot of smack, but my mom's just quite direct like I am. So it's a little bit like, okay, when sweet things like this, I'm like, did you write this? But she has always taught me this. It's always love yourself first, be kind and compassionate, and treat others the way you want to be treated. And that's something that she's always said. It kind of relates to the first one whereby, you treat people the way you want to be treated, and on the other end, people will treat you the way you allow them. So she's always been like, people will treat you the way you allow them. If you allow them to treat you that way, then they will continue to do so. So you've got to set those boundaries, and you've got to make sure that you are strong in that opinion, and you're telling people how you should be treated as well, because you can't just expect people to treat you the way you want. You've got to voice that, and you've got to communicate that.
Yeah, 100%.
The other one she wrote is death is near.
Whoa. Grim. That's
and don't trust people; they're all assholes.
I was going to say, like, well, we could
if we want to pull something out from there, death is near. Okay, she's always taught us to live life.
Yeah, live for today. Live for today, baby.
Go for it. It is what it is. Take those chances. But yeah, no, I think if you put the advice that we've both seen from our mum, they're both fairly similar. As I said, communicated.
They're different, but they're similar women, and we love that.
Yeah, but we're both very, very, very lucky to have them. I think there's a lot that you can learn from, those women in your life, whether they are your mothers. I understand Mother's Day can be really hard for some people, especially, if you don't have a mother figure in your life. But there is so much power in learning from people who have done it, and good people like our mums, like other people's mums that we've, as I said, I've learned so much from your mum already. It's incredible. Exactly, yeah. It's incredible what you can learn when you sit down and you listen and you ask the questions and you seek that advice. Because like what you said before, the career advice, you don't realize how much they know because they're your parents. And
exactly.
Or they're a parent figure, and you're a bit like, oh, what? But, I know everything. Well, I used to think that when I was a teenager. Were you a horrible teenager or were you a good teenager?
No, it depends who you ask. If you're asking me, I was bloody great. If you ask mum and dad, I was probably a little shit.
I was horrendous. I was an absolute mole. I was horrible. I was so mean. And it wasn't until I got into my 20s that mum and I became besties.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's there's that maturing into your mum being your best friend, and it sounds like such a cliche, but
she's so going to take that clip. I know what my mum's going to do. She's going to take that clip and she's just going to replay it. That's going to be the ringtone when I call.
My mum will replay that my mum's my best friend, and your mum will replay that you're a little shit.
You admitted that you were a mole in your podcast. I can hear it.
Perfect.
Love your mum. Really do.
But all things said, we hope that all the beautiful mums out there have a fabulous Mother's Day.
You're amazing. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we're very lucky to know you. We love our mums very much, and we just hope that you've learned something from them like we have our whole lives.
Thank you so much, and have an amazing Mother's Day, everyone.
We'll see you in your ears next week.
Bye.